Hello, my friends. Happy Wednesday. I am so glad you are here to join me for my last live stream in Florida for now. For now. We are headed home from Florida this weekend. We actually leave on Friday. So if you are the praying type, I would appreciate any prayers for us while we're on the road Friday and Saturday and Sunday to get us home to cold, blustery, snow covered Minnesota. But for now, I went outside. I enjoyed myself a little 72-degree sunset this evening, and it was beautiful. And now we are here. My in laws actually leave for a trip tomorrow. So tonight is our last night together, which is such a bummer. But we always come back. We always come back, so it's fine. But when we're here for such an extended period of time, it's always such a sad when we're leaving. But it is what it is. So I've got a new setup happening today. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm glancing over at the comments section because of course I want to say hi to everybody that's here. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Lissa. Hello, Lauren. It is so lovely to see you ladies here this evening. I am pumped. Y'all, we got a couple of really great questions this evening that are going to lend us to have a beautiful conversation about nutrition and coaching and health and weight loss and all of the great things. It's going to be wonderful. So, first, let's start with highs and lows, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we take the opportunity to share with the community our highlights of the week. It could be a huge, big, exciting thing, or it could be something small. Whatever it is, whatever one of the highlights or little small celebrations are for your week, we would love to hear about them. And then on the flip side, we do highs and lows, which means that if you have something that's not so stellar that you also want to share with the community, like, oh, this was the bummer of my week, you are welcome to share that as well. Hello. Jean is here and Joan. Sorry, Joan is here. My eyes are a little blurry this evening. Kim, hello. And Jordan, I'm so sorry. I'm sitting here texting and it's live night. You're all good. I stopped responding before I went live. Don't worry. But I'm glad you're here, Jordan. So my highs for the week. My high was very simple and it all happened yesterday and it was beautiful. I signed not one but two new clients yesterday. And it was a really good it was a good day and it felt really nice, especially since one of the people I got on a discovery call with a brand new person and I asked her, I ask all of my clients, why do you want to work with me and how did you find me as a coach? And this is the first individual who has not been following me first. She's like, I think I found you on Instagram and I searched for what I wanted and you were one of the accounts that popped up and I was looking at your stuff and you looked legit. I found the application button and I applied. And I was like, wow, how stinking cool is that? Because I'm very used to and I very much appreciate the clientele that I have had thus far for the most part is all people who have been following me for a while. So they know me as Brianna, Diva and the Divine. They know my journey, they know my history. That we already have sort of a rapport, if you will, even though I might not know that person personally. They feel like they know me because they followed me for a while. And this person does not have that history with me. And I thought that was very cool and very validating. So it was very exciting. And especially after a lull in coaching for a while, like this felt real good. So that was definitely my high yesterday. And my low is, do you know what showed up with the massive amounts of rain we had Friday and Saturday? Not Friday. Was it Thursday? Thursday was downpouring. Florida allergies, y'all. Florida allergies. And like it was weird because like I felt the switch happen. And like on I think it was Thursday, we were having massive downpour. It rained all stinking day. No, maybe it was Sunday. I lied. It was Sunday. It rained all stinking day on Sunday. Downpour. Like we did virtual church on Sunday and we kept turning it up because the skylights that were right above the TV kept like it just kept getting louder and louder and louder. And there was a period of time I remember feeling it like in my nose. I felt a shift and I was like, "Oh, I have to sneeze." Oh, I feel like allergies are coming, and I have been unable to sleep without a spray of Afrin for the last 3 days. And which if you know anything about Afrin, you know I don't get to take Afrin anymore because 3 days is the maximum. So that's just been and then so just for funsies, I was like, "Oh no." am I getting sick? Because Eric was also starting to have like a rougher throat and clearing his throat again, like he was post or pre-surgery. And I was like, oh no, did we catch something? Because if you all remember, the last time we were in Florida and out doing things, we caught COVID. And then I looked at the pollen report, and the entire map of Florida lit up bright red and orange. And I was like, oh, it's allergy season. Okay, cool. I'm not used to allergy season being in winter because at home everything's frozen over. There's no allergies in the winter unless it's like dust and stuff that's happening inside, right? So those were my highs and lows. Let's take a look at what everybody else's is today. Lissa's, hi, small group started last night. I'm so glad you went to this. I'm so stinking glad you went to this. And not only did I enjoy myself, but I actually stepped out of my comfort zone and didn't just sit in silence the entire time, which is very unusual for me. Mad props, snaps, gold stars, whatever it is, that's awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Low, not really much of a low. I'm dealing with what I assume is mild PMS hunger, but I'm not a PMSing grouch. That's good. Just feeling very mellow, like I don't want to do anything. Okay. Her high, Jordan's high is macros. Words. Jordan is switching from, I don't know if you follow her on Instagram or not. She's Jordan Continued on Instagram. And she announced today that she is switching over from the Weight Watchers plan to macro tracking. And I, for one, am super stoked for her. And low, I feel like I've been overwhelmed with homeschool this week more than usual. I wish I had a tip, trick, or piece of advice, but all I can give you is my support, my friend. I'm sorry, that's a really rough thing to be feeling. Kim, hi, Coach Brianna, that's me, used her precious time to give me some amazing coaching advice. Low, annoyed with slow weight loss, but feel better after talking with Brianna. So not actually a low. I love that. Yes, I did have to talk Kim off of a little bit of a ledge. We'll get into that later because her submitting a question is the thing that caused me to be like, you know what, I'm just going to talk her through this because she's been my client previously and I want to make sure that I'm addressing her specifically. So I talked to her for a little bit today and we got things sorted out, but it is still a lesson that I want everybody to hear because I think it is important. In a depressive way, like I went a few leisurely walks today because workouts felt like too much. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I haven't done a legitimate workout. Do you all realize how hard lift is going to be for me when I get home? Do you have any idea? I'm going to start from square one. I'm going to pretend I've never lifted weights before because that's how long it's been since I've lifted weights consistently. So I'm just like, I'm starting over. I'm just flat out starting over. I didn't feel like watching an entertaining show on the treadmill. I felt like watching a sermon. Love that. And spent a chunk of my afternoon just petting my cat. Hey, sometimes that happens. Sometimes PMS can emotionally charge us in a couple of different ways. Sometimes you get angry and sometimes you just get really reserved, and that's completely and totally normal. That's completely normal. I don't know if anybody saw the ridiculous reel that I posted today. I heard the audio and I had to use it, and it is the Holderness family. And it is, if you watched my stories, it's the reel that I think I accidentally posted 3 times because for whatever reason on my phone under my account, I kept posting the story and then it didn't show up in the stories that I posted. So I assumed it didn't post. Joke's on me. Apparently it posted 3 times, but they have this little goofy song that they've just launched that was like, this is the song that I sing when I'm going on my stupid mental health walk. And it's like a little 15-second song. And it made me chuckle so hard that I threw it onto a video of me walking on the treadmill because that's exactly what they are. Mental health walks. Sometimes you don't want to do it, but you got to do something. And the mental health walk is actually a very, very healthy thing to be doing. Caitlin, hello. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Low, stupid headache, stomach thing kept me home today. Oh no, that's no good. We've all been on some ledges that Brianna has to pull us down from. I'm the ledge puller offer. I love that. I am honored to have that role in your lives, y'all. I'm honored. Made myself work out when I wasn't feeling it. I felt tired, but I forced it and ended up with a strained muscle that I am in PT for. Definitely listen to your body. Yes. And my husband's doing the same thing. He came out. He was ready to work out. He goes, what kind of workout should I do today? And I looked at him. I said, don't you dare do anything that has to do with your back because you have to load the car the next 2 days. And you're going to throw your back out if you do a workout. And he's like, you're right. And so he's doing like mobility and stretching and all that other good stuff and not lifting because I'm like, you're going to injure yourself. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Nothing's wrong with it. I'm checking off the boxes, so I'm not going to fight it. Yep. Good. It's always good to know we aren't alone in this journey. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, y'all, I am so stinking glad to get this conversation started. As per usual, it is Q&A night, and you, my friends that are live and actions and taking action in the chat, I can speak, I can use words. Whew. You have the floor. If there's anything that you want to ask me, any topics that you want me to touch on, any question, the sky's the limit. You guys know that I am an open book. Feel free to ask in the chat, and those questions take priority. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions that were submitted to me earlier today. And bear with me, y'all. I'm in the part of my cycle where communication, not my strong suit. So I would much rather, much like Lissa, be like just quiet. And I've been packing pretty much all day today, just taking my time, ho hum, what am I leaving? What am I taking? And discerning how to, not completely and utterly overwhelm my husband and make him go, how much stuff did you manage to acquire during this trip? If granted it was Christmas and stuff, so like it makes sense, but still. But like I'm not clear on the communication. I swear during that time of the month, it's like there's a disconnect in your brain, which is hilarious because actually during that time of your month, there's actually not a disconnect to your brain. Your two hemispheres actually communicate the best with each other during this period of time. So it's a really great time to sit and reflect and do things that require both sides of your brain, to think through situations, reflect on what you want, how you could do things better, things like that. Great time for that. Not a great time for me to use the words. So bear with me. I'm a leisurely strolling, but at least I can always walk on my walking pad before or after work. Yep, absolutely. And some days you just don't do anything at all. And you know what? It's fine. It's fine. All right. So here's the first question. Let me know if you guys have anything else. But question number 1 is, are you dreading going back to the cold weather? Yeah, I am. And so let me be clear. I am not dreading going back home. I'm 50-50 on it. I really do. I love being here. And my mother-in-law and I were talking just yesterday, and she made a comment. She goes, "It is baffling to me how we can live together for months and we have not had a single fight. Like my in-laws and I get along amazing. Amazing. We haven't had a single fight. It's wonderful." And so like I'm so stinking happy to be here. I love being here. But on the flip side, I am so ready to go home and be back in my own space. I love our beautiful new turquoise guest room here. Do you have any idea how much of a pain that thing is to film in? Because if you for let's tech talk for a second. Cameras have this thing called auto white balance, where it automatically tries to shift the hue of what's happening based on what's around. So if you see sometimes in like my goal setting videos, when I hold up my power sheets that last year they were green or this year they're blue, the lighting will shift and I will turn orange because the auto white balance is trying to compensate for the fact that I just threw something blue up in its face. And then as soon as I take it down, everything neutralizes again. Imagine that book, but it's the whole stinking room because the whole room is turquoise. So like I filmed an unboxing video for the first time in a really long time. Well, I guess I unboxed the Harry Potter stuff earlier in October, but like I bought a product and I unboxed it and I plugged it in and I explored it live on camera because I thought it would be fun and I needed something to put up before we got home. So that's coming on Monday, but I just, as I'm watching it, I'm like, man, it is so hard to get even my new camera, the white balance just, woof, it's rough. So I'm excited to go home and be in my office with all of my stuff and my filming setup and my background and just all of those things. But am I dreading the cold weather? 110% yes. Would I much rather be hanging out in shorts? Yes. And no jacket? Yes. And no snow on the ground for me to slip and fall on? Yes. I believe our next snowfall of significance is due on Valentine's Day, which means I have Monday. If it all goes according to plan, I have Monday to get all errands done, all of that, and then I have to take Gracie to the groomer on Wednesday. Oh, and it might be snowing on Tuesday. And see, I'm already like, oh God, no. Snow gives me such anxiety, y'all. It gives me such anxiety. But it is what it is. Hope you have a big car to get all your stuff back home. We have a Honda CRV with us. I mean, it's an SUV. It does the job. And my husband is a master at real life Tetris. If you should have seen, so my in-laws went to Tennessee last weekend to go see their grandsons and brought all of their Christmas presents. You should have seen the epic game of Tetris that my husband and my father-in-law played to get all of these presents for these 3 boys, and there were a lot of them, into 2 suitcases. It was a very impressive feat, and at first I didn't think they were gonna be able to do it, but they did it, they figured it out, and they love it. They love especially my husband loves the spatial reasoning game. So, hopefully, that goes just fine. He is downstairs packing bins and stuff as we speak. My job today was to get as much of my stuff that wasn't going to be in my little carry-on for the hotels or my laptop bag, as much as I could, get that in the other room so he knows that he needs to pack it. We have gone so far as to, hey, Rosie, happy Wednesday. Good to see you. We have gone so far as to like this. If you guys can, I don't know if you've ever seen, think back to a picture of my office or my desk. My laptop is sitting on a metal laptop stand that is shaped kind of like this, right? It's shaped like a sideways U type thing. And it's apparently a big enough pain to like fit into bins and work into things that he's like, "Well, are you done with your thing?" And I'm like, "No, I got a live stream." And then like that's the comfortable angle for using my laptop when I'm sitting and working. And he's like, "Well, I'd really like to pack it ASAP." So finally I looked at him and I went on Amazon and I looked at how much I paid for one. And I was like, "Is it worth $40 to you to not have to pack it ever again?" And he's like, "Actually, yes." So I'm leaving it here so I never have to pack my laptop stand to come to Florida ever again. And we're kind of at that point where like I'm leaving lotion, I have a razor, I have some of my skincare products, I have a whole supply of my preferred hair care products. I didn't realize that like the hair dryer I like to use, the Revlon one step styler, there's one down here. So like we have a couple extra pairs of socks, a couple pairs of underwear, one pair of pajama pants, and 2 shirts. Like we have a pile of stuff that we just leave here in case we have to come down here at the drop of a hat so we can pack less next time we come, all of that. All contact solution. I have all my stuff down here already. So it's stuff that I don't have to pack next time. And it also means that I don't have to bring it home with me this time, which is really, really nice. So packing, my worst thing. I am so thankful that my husband does not mind taking on the brunt of the packing work because I hate packing. I don't know what it is about packing, but like it just gives me anxiety. And like, even though I'm like, oh, I'm getting ready to go home. Oh, I'm getting ready to go wherever. It doesn't matter where I'm going or how exciting the trip is. Packing makes me anxious and makes me not want to do it. Like, I would rather do anything than make phone calls or pack anything. Luckily, my husband's like, if you can just get your stuff together, he packs the car, he does all the schlepping, he does all the work. I'm a very lucky woman. We balance each other out very, very well that way. So yeah, that's about going home. We leave on Friday. Fingers crossed that all the snow stays away, that everything goes well. Next question. Do you think you will ever give up your YouTube channel? Do you feel burnt out? Do I think I will ever give up my YouTube channel? I have a long term and short term answer for this. Short term, no, absolutely not. I'm working on figuring out ways to make sure that I can continue to create content and to create better, more quality content for you guys. I like having the YouTube channel as not just a stream of income, but a hobby, a thing to do. It's a lot of fun to create content. Like I said, I finally the other day just sat down and filmed an unboxing video. And you know why I did it? Because I was like, I had an inkling of like, I want to do this. And then I was like, so why don't you? Why don't you? Because if the theme of 2023 is to infuse the fun back into this for me, I need to start doing stuff like that. When I have a hunch, I have a desire too. I need to go ahead and run with that, right? There was also like I was also thinking of like a sort of like almost podcast style video that like it was a top I don't remember if it was a topic or whatever, but I was like, you could sit down and film that. You can just sit down and talk about it like you're on a podcast, but it's a video podcast. Like, what the heck's the difference? You can do that. It's your channel. You can do whatever the heck you want. So I plan on doing that. So short term, do you think you will ever give up your YouTube channel? No. Now, do I think I will still be creating YouTube videos when I'm 80? Probably not. Let's be honest here. But I'm hoping that this channel is something that continues to grow with me for the next 10, 20 plus years, if at all possible. Now, if God throws a curveball at me and something happens, the YouTube channel can be something that gets less attention or things like that. But my long term, big picture goal is to be able to create content on YouTube for quite some time. And then, second part to that question was, do you feel burnt out? Hello, my name is Brianna. Have you been following me on and off for the last 2 years? Yes, I feel burnt out almost constantly. And my goal for 2023 is to figure out how to run my life so I don't feel burnt out. That is like one of life's primary missions in 2023. Welcome to the journey. I'm glad you're here. Spin-off question, says Rosie. What advice would you give to someone who wants to start a YouTube channel, partially to be a stream of interest? My advice to somebody who wants to start a YouTube channel is to start the YouTube channel. And also, your first video is going to suck, and that's okay. And that's okay. And your second video is probably also going to suck. And your third video is probably going to suck, but maybe a little less. The point is, if you want to start a YouTube channel, you have to do it. You just have to put yourself out there. It's not going to be great. And don't for a second compare your stuff to anybody else's. Because remember, there are people like she's not new. She's not new. The vlogger that I love has been who's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's literally like 12 years younger than me. I think she's 24. She's over a decade younger than I am. And I'm like, why am I so much older and wiser and so much worse at this than she is? And then I come to find out the girl started her YouTube channel when she was 12 years old. 12 years old. So even in terms of like our channels have been around for about the same period of time. Hers is a little bit older, but she also was YouTubing when like it started to get popular and at a young age and developmentally in terms of her skill and her knowledge of technology and all that. Like she's ahead of me. So how dare I compare my content to her content and expect the same? And so the same should be for you, Rosie. Don't look at the YouTubers that you follow and go, why can't I get my content to like them right away? Because you're a beginner. It's brand new. And the learning curves of all of it, the editing, the uploading, the tagging, all of it takes time. It all takes time. One thing that I will say, and you changed it to income, stream of income. So that it don't count on here's my advice. Don't count on it as a stream of income. Don't. If you go into it being like, this is going to make me money, you're going to be sorely disappointed with how long it takes to even get monetized. You need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in a 90-day period of time to even be eligible to join the YouTube Partners program. Just so you know. So luckily, I ended up in the Partners program before that milestone marker was a thing. But know that you're going to have to put out plenty of content and consistent content and content that gets clicked on and all of that before you even have eligibility to be monetized. You're going to have to do it for a while. So start the YouTube channel because you want to, because you're interested in sharing information or sharing yourself with the internet. And because it's something that will bring you joy. That's why you need to start it. So ever or just for the first while? Ever or just for the first while to which part? Because like, for the first long while. For the first long while. And I'll use myself as as a personal experience with the way my channel has grown and it is stagnated. But my ad revenue, because I've stagnated, after I switched off of Weight Watchers, I stagnated completely honestly. And then my views started to drop off. My subscribership stayed there. People are still staying subscribed to me, but they're not watching necessarily anymore. And who knows how many of the thousands of subscribers have stopped using YouTube or whatever the case may be. There's a million reasons that I have inactive subscribers. But my ad revenue has gone from quite a bit of money and but like less than 1,000, but like quite a bit of money every month to much less. To like I have made in what I'm making in a month, I have made 10 times as much in 1 month. It is extremely variable. It is extremely variable. So unless you end up with very consistent viewership, do not count on it as a important revenue stream for quite some time. Now, Mindy over at See Mindy Mom, YouTube friend of mine, she is doing wildly successful things, and she's able to like pay for kids' activities. Like it's actually her YouTube income. She's past 100,000 subscribers, but she has managed to pay for important chunks of things in her family's life with her YouTube business, which is great. But she also managed to find a niche that everybody is looking for, and her views are off the charts, and like she's doing really, really well, which is great. And it is something that I aspire to be as well. But I can't hold on hope for this to be my primary income, right? I make more money coaching than I do on my YouTube channel. I'm going to throw that out there for you. So, but that doesn't, I'm not saying this to scare you off. I'm saying it is worth doing as long as it is something you want to do and you find it fun. But it's work. It's a lot of work. Which is why I end up burnt out half the time when I'm not minding the rest of my mental health and my whatever. If I just focus, especially when I get into that mental state of focusing just on the numbers or just on the money or just on the metrics, it's very easy to get discouraged and burnt out. You know? Do you feel that your coaching is because of YouTube? Yes. 110% yes. It is because of my YouTube channel, people suggested to me that I become a coach. It is thanks to you guys that I even was like, there seem to be enough people interested in me doing this. Maybe I should do this. And like I said, and you missed the first part of the conversation. But what I did say was I signed a new client just yesterday who was the first client who wasn't a follower first. All of my clientele has come from members of my community. So absolutely, this YouTube channel is the reason that I have a coaching business, 110% without a doubt. So it is a great impetus to get people into your coaching because you give away content for free. You give away proof that you are an expert in what you're talking about for free, and you get people invested in you personally. And that's what makes them willing to come to you for the extra, right? Hope that was helpful advice. Excellent topic for you. All right. Third question. Here we go. I have been in a deficit for several months, and all of a sudden I have been hungry, really hungry in the last week. Nothing has changed. Suggestions. I will give y'all one guess as to what I'm going to tell this person. And because of the delay on StreamYard, I'm not going to actually sit here for 15 seconds to let y'all answer, but stop and think about what is the thing that I am most likely to say right now. Take a diet break. Take a diet break. If you have been in a deficit for several months and your nutrition and everything is still, ding, 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 ding. Yes. Definitely take a diet break. You only should be in a deficit for 16 to 20 weeks anyway. That's it. So take a diet break. Up your calories. Your body is saying, feed me, Seymour. Does anybody get that reference? Anybody? Feed me, please. That's why they're hungry. Your body is hungry because you're not feeding it enough food. The deficit has finally caught up with your body. So the best course of action is to go into a diet break for 1 to 3 weeks. If you're really struggling with hunger, I would do like the 3 weeks for sure, where you eat at or just below your maintenance calories. And then your body kind of gets refueled, so to speak, and it goes, okay, thank you. You're not trying to starve me as you were. And then you can cut your calories again. And sometimes you have to cut your calories. And Kim, this is relevant to you too. And she got the reference. Yay! Little Shop of Horrors. Gold star to Kim. This is to you too, Kim. One of the things that sometimes can happen is when you come off of a diet break, instead of going right down to the macros you were at before and the calories you were at before, it's common to land a little bit higher than you were before. So 100 calories higher, 150 calories higher post diet break. That is common. And see if you can get the same results you were getting with the first period of your cut. But absolutely, if you are hungry, hunger is one of your biofeedback markers. And if you can be in a deficit, then there's a difference between like, I'm a little bit hungry. Oh, I noticed that I'm actually restricting my food a little bit. And the term, and like, I type these questions out word for word, how they're presented to me. And all of a sudden I've been hungry, really hungry, really hungry. That means you need to address that biofeedback marker. That's what that means. Caitlin says, what program did you get your nutrition coaching from? I did precision nutrition first, and then I got a macro mentorship certification through G Transformation Academy. And that got me like the International Academy of Sports Medicine and the American Academy of, I have like 3 or 4 valid certifications because of it. And so, yes, Lissa got it right. The diet break is the right answer to that question for sure. Other things that you can try is volumizing your food, of course. Make sure, are you eating enough protein? And you got to address if one of your biomarkers starts to go off, you have to address the other ones as well. And go back to every troubleshooting issue with coaching is all addressed the same way. If you're having hunger problems, if you're not losing weight, the first thing that I tell you is, what are your calories actually? In the case of severe hunger, are you under eating or are you eating what you're supposed to be eating? How is your protein? Are you eating enough protein? If the answer is no, you need to up that protein. Protein is the most satisfying and satiating macronutrient. The more protein you eat, the odds are the less hungry you will be. Make sure you throw in fat in there. We don't do low fat diets here. We do lower fat sometimes, but not low fat. You need fat, especially healthy fats, in your diet. And fiber. Where are you at on fiber? Once you get that out of the way, you do water. How is your water intake, y'all? Let's take a second to stop, drop, and chug. Water, sleep. Sleep is the magic ingredient to weight loss that y'all didn't know you needed. Some of you know you need it, but like, let's be real. So when I get home, full transparency, when I get home, I'm going into like, all right, let's deficit this. You got a Hawaiian 10th anniversary trip that you need to prepare for. Let's do this thing, right? And you better believe that one of the things I'm actually going to try really hard to do is see if I can be in bed for 8 or 9 hours a night. Not joking, because sleep is, if you're not getting sleep, if you're not getting quality sleep, I'll tell you another thing. My little Aura ring, so I have this the little ring, right? That tells you all this information about your sleep. And today, my sleep score was 84, which didn't earn me a star, which I was sad about. But I don't know if you can see. Can you see that there's a red bar in there? My REM sleep, that deep sleep that you really need for rejuvenation and all of that, I only got 35 minutes of deep sleep last night. And I felt it. I woke up in the middle of the night last night and I was convinced it was morning. Like, I woke up like, it is 8 o'clock, let's go. And then I realized it was still dark and my husband was still next to me. And I was like, oh crap, what time is it? I didn't look at the clock because I didn't want to know. But and so like, I woke up in the middle of the night and so I knew I was a little tossy turny, whatever. So I was not surprised to see that my REM sleep suffered. Y'all, all I have wanted today is carbohydrates, because that's my default when I don't have enough energy. And my willpower has been less today. All of the things, because my sleep was low quality. So you need to work on your sleep as well. You are going to be more able to stay in control and more able to lose weight if you are getting adequate sleep. Wildly important. And also addressing your stressors. Your stress level and your cortisol levels play a direct role in whether or not you can lose weight, whether or not you can control yourself, and all of those things, and your hunger levels. So that's the troubleshooting stuff that I always run through with my clients. But the easy answer, and probably the obvious answer, and the thing that I would tell you if I was coaching you is, oh, look, it's time for a diet break. Eat more food. That's what I would tell you. Let's see. Caitlin says she thinks she's in the mental mindset to hopefully be coached again. That is lovely to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Protein and fat is why I decided to respond to a little PMS hunger by spending some weeklies on an extra heat bar instead of cookies. And that's absolutely the right choice. And not that the cookies are bad. There's no bad food. If we want some cookies, we should have some cookies. But when you know, the more you know, the better you can serve your body, right? And ultimately, we want to feel energized and vibrant and nourished by the foods that we eat. So if you're having hunger and you know what's causing the hunger, you want to make sure you can satisfy the hunger in the best way possible, which is first, let's do that protein and that fat and grab that healthy eating on the go bar. And then if I want a cookie afterwards, I can still have a cookie. That's fine. But you addressed the core things that were going to actually help satiate your hunger, because the cookie wouldn't have been it, right? Sleep hygiene is a great topic. Yes, and it is something that I am going to be actively working on, and working more closely with my Aura Ring. I've been a little bit lax about wearing it. I've let it die a couple of times because now I love my Aura Ring, but its battery life is like 3 or 4 days now, so I have to remember to charge it. But sleep is like the missing ingredient that no one thinks about, you know? Cookies are great. Would have more sticking power and satisfy my desire for something sweet. Absolutely. 110%. That's totally valid. Here we go. Next question. And again, if you guys have anything that you want me to chat about, like Rosie did, chime in, ask questions. It doesn't have to be related to the nutrition or coaching. It could be a random question. It doesn't matter. I'm just here for you for the next hour. So if you want to know something about me, feel free to ask away. I'm going to throw you under the bus, Kim. This is Kim's question. Intense cravings for sweets for a week. Like I want to eat a whole cake. Nutrition on point. Suggestions. Bet you can't guess what I told her. So like, for full transparency, there's the gut answer that I have, and then I got more information because that's important to understand the situation, and any good coach would do that. Stop and try and understand the situation, right? But my first response, I literally messaged her immediately and I was like, Kim, eat cake. For heaven's sake, have a piece of cake. And the reason I said that to her is because she specifically said my nutrition has been on point. And I know for her, that means she's eating all the healthy things and she's restricting because she's currently in a fat loss phase. So where's the harm in actually having, if all you want is that one piece of cake, like eat a piece of cake. You can't have a piece of cake every single day. I mean, you could if you worked it into your macros, but it's probably not the best idea. And we all know this, right? But if you're having this insane craving for something that won't go away and kind of makes you want to rip your eyeballs out, have a piece of cake. It's not going to hurt you. It's probably going to taste really good and you're going to be super duper satisfied. And then you can eat the cake, be like, huh, I've had my cake. I feel so much better now. And then you can move on. And the second you stop saying, because like we can get into the whole mindset issue of what's around this cake. Like, why isn't she allowing this? And I'm just using Kim as an example because she's the one who submitted this question. I'm not saying that Kim does this. But if you are in good food, bad food mindset, cake, bad food. Therefore, I cannot have cake. So what are you craving? Cake. It's all you want because you've told yourself it's bad. You've told yourself you can't have it. Therefore, it's all your body wants, right? It's like the little children. It's like my nephews when they get their presents. They don't care what they unwrap. All they want is what their brothers unwrap, right? All kids do it. It's like us with food. The second we're told we can't have something, that's what we want. Therefore, no food is off limits. So if you're really having a week where you're like, I can't stop thinking about cake, have a piece of cake. What's the worst possible thing that could happen? There ain't much. There ain't much, right? And then you've had the cake and then it's done. Happy day. And then now that you've marked it as not a bad food, it's not a bad food. Therefore, you're like, oh, that's not so bad. I can have cake whenever I want. All right. Suddenly I don't need it as much anymore. Cool. And you'll start to notice the mindset shifts and the cravings that go away. Now, there's that. You can have cake every day if your mom makes banana bread like mine. Half the sugar and less oil than the recipe. Yeah. And with banana bread, like when I make banana bread, I have all of the nutrition information. So when I make it, I do have banana bread every day and I work it into my macros. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. If you can figure out how to have it every day, by all means, have it every day. But having, like, when I'm picturing cake, like have the piece of cake, I'm picturing like an exorbitant sized piece of cake. That's what I'm picturing. But let's dive a little bit deeper if we can. So when I messaged Kim, I was like, give me the situation. What exactly is happening? Give me the 411 on your actual fat loss phase? Because the easy answer is Kim, go eat cake. But what I did not know, first thing, is she's just coming off of her diet break. She did the good thing. She did the right thing. She's self-coaching herself through a fat loss phase after working with me. And she knows that it's diet break time. So she took a 2-week diet break. Good job, Kim. Mad props, because most people don't have the control to do that. But this is her first week off of the diet break and restricting calories again. And all she can think about is sweets. That makes sense because your body just got the joy of like, oh, she's feeding me again. Happy, happy day. And when we increase our calories, typically the thing we end up increasing is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are the things that's mostly in flux when we are going through a fat loss phase. So it makes sense that after your body's having 2 weeks of more carbs, that you are craving more carbs. That's completely natural. So I took that piece of information. I was like, okay, well, let's see what else we got here. And so I ran her information for her BMR, and I understood, kind of what was going on there. And so then the question that I posed to her, which I posed to everybody, actually has nothing to do with the cake, but it has everything to do with, what should your current goal be? I ran her just for funsies, even though the BMI scale is baloney. I ran her BMI in the same website that I do the BMR just to see. Turns out she's in a normal weight range. She's not overweight. She's completely normal. So once we end up in like that arena of like, well, we're not overweight at all. What should our goal actually be? So then you need to start considering what approach you should change. And so I posed the question of, what if instead of trying to lose the next 5 pounds or the next 10 pounds, you switched your focus to trying to gain 5 pounds of muscle? Yeah, I said it. What if you try to switch your focus to gaining 5 pounds of muscle? What does this mean? It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm telling you go put on 5 pounds. That's not what I'm saying. But if you think about what is necessary in your body and in your actions to put on 5 pounds of muscle, 5 pounds of muscle is a lot, you guys. It's a lot of muscle. Muscle is dense, yes, but it is hard to put on muscle. It's not nearly as easy as the big bodybuilders make it out to be. Not to discourage you, but I'm just saying it's a lot of work. It is as much work, if not more work, than a fat loss phase, right? So if you started to do the work necessary to do that, what would you do? Well, you'd increase your calories a bit. So instead of being in extreme deficit, can you add 1, 2, 3, 500 calories, maybe eat at maintenance mode and switch up your macro balance? So maybe focus on more protein, more calories. And then what do your activities turn into? Heavier lifting at the gym more frequently. And all of a sudden you have the recipe for muscle building and a little bit of fat loss at the same time. And you might notice that even if the scale does not change, your body composition does. And Lordy, if your body composition starts to change because you are saying, I want to put on 5 pounds of muscle, you're going to get trimmer. You're going to get leaner. You're going to get the aesthetic goals that you're setting out for, trying to lose those 5 pounds. But because you switch to gaining 5 pounds of muscle mode, you're getting the same results, but you're eating more food. You're feeling better. You're not craving cake every day of the week. And you're still getting the results you want. It's amazing. And again, I recommend that people work with a coach to talk through stuff like this, make changes, tweak things as necessary. But I've worked with Kim in the past, so I know her history. I know how she works. I know how her body functions. So I was able to give her this piece of advice, be like, hey, why don't you try X for a while and see if that gets you the results you want? Because she was also saying that her loss has actually been pretty slow, and given the numbers she gave me, yeah, it is kind of slow for being consistent on your diet. Yes, it's slow. So what that tells me, which is why, because her weight loss was so slow, it was happening, but at a very slow rate. I checked her BMI just to be like, where do you even sit on the scale? Once she clocked in at normal weight range, it automatically made me go, do you need to lose more weight? And the answer is probably no. And the fact that you're losing so slowly is probably your body telling you that. Like, it's kicking and screaming and clawing every second of the day, trying to be like, but I don't want to lose the weight. I don't need to lose anymore. So you just need to change your tactic. And once you change into body recomp mode is fun because you get to eat more food and you still get the results of fat loss. It's a great mode to be in. So that was my advice to her. But the easy advice is if you have cravings for cake and you can't get it out of your head, eat a piece of cake. It's not going to kill you. It's actually going to be probably a very emotionally joyful experience, but eat the cake, track the cake, whatever it is, even if it puts you 500 points or 1,000 calories over your day, whatever it does. And maybe don't eat a 5,000 calorie piece of cake. Maybe have like a moderate sized piece of cake. Track it and move on. That's all you got to do. Just move on. And then it's done. For me, the challenge with not restricting is that a lot of desserts are made for groups and I'm just one person and I don't necessarily want a ton of leftovers that'll go bad. Yeah, so I relate. Something that I might consider doing in the future, because I do want to be baking, is to have the recipe of whatever it is, share with the people that I live with. For me, it's just me and my husband. If we start to, befriend people more often and weather starts to get nice, we're going back to Bible study. On Bible study nights, I'll make desserts and share with the Bible study, which is great. So opportunities like that. And Lissa, you just joined a Bible study. So if you bake on a Sunday or a Monday, you can bring the treats to Bible study and share with the people there. Now you have an opportunity. Such a great question. What should your goal actually be? Maybe it's unrealistic. Love the focus on muscle building. You know I love my weightlifting. I do. And so that's why I'm telling you specifically and everybody here. But stop and think about, what should your goal actually be? For me, I've got plenty to lose. So my goal right now needs to be weight loss, and that's totally fine. But for you, your goal might not need to be weight loss anymore. Your goal might not need to be the number on the scale anymore. That is not what you need to be focusing on anymore. I have a client who's been with me for, it'll be 2 years in May, and she's in maintenance mode. And her scale she's probably gained about 7 pounds with me, which is good, which is fine. She's been in maintenance the entire time. And one of the most valuable things that I can teach my clients is that when you're in maintenance mode, it is okay if you gain weight. It is okay. When it becomes a problem is when your measurements start to change. And I have watched this person for the last 2 years lose inches on her body while gaining 7 pounds. That's not nothing. Like, that's the dream. She's averaging 2,300 calories a day. She's knocking the protein out of the park. She's taking really good care of herself. Her nutrition is very well balanced, and her measurements every week, even on a week that her weight fluctuates and it crosses that border to, that number makes me a little uncomfortable. I go, what are your measurements? And she goes, my measurements are the same and my clothes fit fine. I said, then there's nothing to worry about. And that's the truth. So you gotta just think about what your goals need to be right now. And for you, Kim, I think switching into let me build more muscle, let me recomp, I think you would gain more, no pun intended, from doing that than from trying to get your body to let go of weight that it doesn't want to let go of. I don't want to eat cake every day for 2 weeks. I like variety. It's true. Nice. Delicious. Grandmother has been supplying us with a steady supply of frosted brownies. So that's what we've been eating this week. I want cake too. Used friends' birthday parties as an excuse, but really I just wanted peanut butter brownies and didn't want the whole pan. Yeah. So start baking. If you have a recipe you want to try, bake it and bring it to Bible study with you. Easy peasy. And then the last question I got was, will you go back to working with your coach when you get home? And that answer is no. I am going to be coaching myself. And I'm very excited about it. I'm very motivated. I'm pumped. I'm ready. I'm jazzed. I'm all of the things. And now that I have a goal, now that I have like a future goal, I have like this deadline, this date I can circle on the calendar, that gives me more drive. Granted, that's 16 months away. Like, it's a lot of time away, but I still have a concrete date on the calendar that I can look forward to, which makes me very excited. So I'm coaching myself and I'm really pumped about it. And I'm going to treat myself just like I treat my other clients. I even have my very own tracker sheet in my very own folder where I keep all of my clients. Everybody has their own little Google Drive folder. And in their folders, they have documents that I share with them that's just between the two of us, links to their calls, all of that stuff, including their trackers. I have a tracker that I give my clients with my name on it. Oh boy. Let's mute that. Okay. So yeah, I will not be working with my coach, because here's the thing. I can get, if I'm diligent about it, I can get the accountability that I need for free. Because I know how to do, I know what I need to know to be able to coach myself through things, to be able to troubleshoot things, I've been really good at listening to my body. I understand my biofeedback on a very, very good level right now. And it's good. I understand my hormonal cycles. I'm ready to do this on my own. And if I need to be accountable, if I need somebody to weigh in front of and show my weights too, I have friends that I can show, and I can hop on a live stream at any time and do a weekly weigh-in and be like, here's how my week has been going. This is the struggles. I can do it all on YouTube, which I may or may not do. It's possible. But for now, and that's not to say that I won't go back to her or get a different coach or whatever the case may be. That's not to say that I won't do that. It's just that that's not what I'm feeling right now. I want to try this myself because I think it will be a very excellent practice in self-discipline and self-accountability and a lot of the personal development things that I want to work on my own. And then if I find that I'm severely lacking and I'm like, no, I can't do this without somebody's help, then I will absolutely get my coach back. She'll be glad to have me. But for now, I'm going to try myself. It's a big goal, but it's a big year, but I'm feeling really good about it. So yeah, there's that. When you first told me that it's okay and normal to gain some weight in maintenance, it was mind-blowing, right? Highly recommend everybody hire a coach. The knowledge and support is invaluable. Thank you. I super appreciate it. And it is. It's wildly helpful to have a coach, especially if you need that guidance to start. And my goal, I said this on my discovery call for this person who I had not interacted with in any way, shape, or form before. My goal as a coach, however long we work with each other. I've had people who I've only worked with for 3 months. I've had people who I've worked with for 6 months, a year. And like I said, I still have a client that I've had for almost 2 years. And my goal with all of my clients is to be able to set them up so they can find success on their own. I want to teach them. I want to switch their mindsets around. And then when the time is right, and that time is different for everybody, it could be after a 3-month thing. And I keep saying 3 months because when you coach with me, you are required to have a commitment of at least 3 months to work with me. So whether it's just our 3-month period, or if you're like, no, I'm not ready to let go yet. And people will often work with me for like 6 or 7 months before they're like, okay, I think I'm good. And that my goal is to send you off and allow you to do things on your own, which is why Kim is like one of my biggest success stories, because look at her killing it with all of the stuff that I've taught her. But she took that information and after working with me for a period of time is off on her own and slaying the game. And it makes me like a proud mama. It makes me like such a proud mama. I have another client former client who emailed me just the other day who was giving me an update on herself and all of the personal development stuff that she has gone through in the last couple of months. And she and I worked together for quite a long period of time. And I was so thrilled to hear all of the progress she had made on herself. It made me so stinking happy for her that she went out and did these personal development things for herself and really got things going for herself. I am somebody who, whether you are a voice student of mine or a coaching client of mine, like I love your success. That is my favorite thing. It is why I do the job. I love to see you succeed. It is my favorite thing to see you succeed. And I get real fired up when you do. I really do, which is why I'm also excited to coach myself. And I know it's a little bit different, but like I want to be able to have that interaction, be like, oh, look, you can do it. Like it's validating on both ends, both coach as my own coach and as my own client. So it'll be good. It's good. That's part of why I want the new IG, creating accountability and having followers that are more in line with your goals. Yeah, and I mean it's completely up to you. I am a firm believer that if you that you can just change your content. I mean, I'm doing it right now. For better or for worse, the content that's on my YouTube channel is not the same content that was on my YouTube channel 3 years ago. And I've my metrics have suffered because of it. But the breakdown, the loss of followers, the loss of views is making room for the right people to come in. So I'm not changing the name or anything. I'm changing what the name does, but I'm leaving the name. For other people, it's just easier to start from scratch. And that's totally fine too. The question is, do you want to have to work that hard to get the followers you already have back? Or are you like, I just want different followers. It's fine. Because also if it's just the name that's holding you down, you can change your Instagram handle without changing the account. I believe. I'm almost positive you can do that. You can just change your username. If the username is really the thing that's holding you down, you can change your username. If you want to start fresh with 0 followers, zero follows, 0 likes, 0 followers, go for it. It's completely up to you. The weight gain and maintenance is definitely where I struggled the most because I gained it so slowly. It took me 3 months to realize I wasn't maintaining. I was gaining. Yes. Well, and so here's the difference though. Lissa, your measurements were changing. And that's the big red flag, right? If your measurements are changing, that's the problem. If you're in maintenance, your measurements shouldn't be changing much, but your weight can go up. That is the difference. That's the difference. Now that I know I can stair step up the scale, I know what to watch out for in the future. Yeah, no, it's the measurements, and that's why with me, we always take multiple metrics. We weigh in every single day, but there's also weekly measurements that have to happen. I need the full picture, and I literally ask for photos too. So we have a visual, I can see the change or lack of change. We have measurements that will tell us exactly what's happening in terms of volume on your body. And then we have the scale, which may or may not tell the fat loss story. It may or may not. So in maintenance, especially, it is wildly crucial that you take your measurements. Wildly crucial. I did a reset and it didn't benefit me in any way. Part of me wonders if I should have archived my content and started fresh on the same account. And people that are more around topics that I'm not interested in. Following you or that you follow. Because if you follow them, you can just go and unfollow them. But it's the people that's the people that it will impact in terms of your account mostly is people that follow you. If you make a new account, you lose all of those followers. You start with 0. And yes, it's an opportunity because you're also not following anybody. It's an opportunity for you to curate your new feed to be what you want it to be. Yes, that's true. But people also have to find you again. Which again, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I personally would, unless there found to be some profound benefit to just starting from scratch. And I mean, I know Jordan on here did start from scratch and she managed to do really, really well starting from scratch. But it takes a long time to get to 10,000 subscriber or followers sometimes. And so would I necessarily want to let that go? You know, and yes, Lissa's right. You can also remove followers. So if you go through and you know that there are people you don't want following you anymore, you can also manually remove them. It's completely up to you. IG is so inaccessible, it sounds overwhelming to do that. Yep, that's fair. Whichever you want. 800's not nothing, Rosie. 800's quite a bit. That's not nothing. It's completely up to you. I will support you and follow you either way, whichever you decide to do. My measurements are fluctuating within the same 2 inches, but that's what was happening when I was losing. I mean, the tiny bit I did lose last year. And this is a topic for more one-on-one conversation with you, but I don't necessarily think that's true because we have photographic proof that that's not true. The photographic proof of your fluctuations proves that it was more than 2 inches in either direction. So the issue is your anxiety with taking measurements. That's what the issue is. And that's just something that you got to just get over, quite frankly. I'm totally proud of it. Good. You should be. You should be. I was elated. I'm still elated every time that I get new followers. Every time I see that number creep up a little bit, I was like, "Oh, hi, welcome to my little piece of the internet. Hope you don't think I'm too crazy." And I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock, y'all. How did that happen? Oh, this was so much fun. So that's it for Florida. Next time you see me, it is going to be very, very cold. I am not going to be in shorts and I'm not going to be in a t-shirt. Oh my goodness. I hate taking measurements, but I do it every 2-3 weeks. And that's important. It's wildly important. And it's also really nice to have that validating on a day that you're like, oh, the scale went up 3 pounds and I don't know why. You whip out that tape measure and you'd be like, yeah, but actually my waist measurement is fine. Leave it alone. You don't have to worry about it. I've had multiple clients do that, to be like, the scale went up and I got frustrated. So I took my measurements and it turns out that nothing changed. So I stopped worrying about it. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that over the course of my 2 years in coaching. I can't even tell you. It's been so many times. So, all right, friends, I am going to talk to you later. Appreciate all of your prayers for safety and travel as we travel this weekend. Take care, and I will talk to you back in Minnesota, same time next week. Bye.